Hello, everyone. Lovely to be with you. So, if we can turn our attention to presence, without any effort, it's a simple noticing. Noticing this invisible awareness. Formless. Noticing, noticing itself without any object, without any form. A direct perception of being. So you can invite your mind and your body to rest, to get out of the way, so that this revelation is available to you. In fact, it is always available to you, because everything you experience, in essence, is formless. The less you do, the better it is. In fact, there is no need to do anything. Everything is done of itself, on its own. In religious lingo, we say God does everything. We are habituated to believe that we need to do things. We need to be in charge. And that's the illusion of somebody being in charge, somebody who's in control. And so we spin our wheels in vain. The mind becomes very busy trying to get somewhere. It is part of the illusion that there is a personal doer. We hesitate to let go of that belief. So we hold on. We resist. We hold on to the sense of me feeling something, the need to feel something, to be somebody somehow. The mind complicates things. Well, things are very simple. There is one reality. This human experience is referred to as the waking dream, referring to the waking state. We rely on the mind in order to find peace and happiness. But the mind is of the past, it is conditioned. It is an ancestral mind, a tribal mind, conditions by millenniums of history, tribalism, beliefs, old empires. And this tribal mind is ongoing. Sometimes it haunts us. And so we wonder how to quiet this mind. But the mind cannot quiet itself because the mind is activity. It's made out of memories and beliefs, stored sensations and reactivities, various programs that we have used and reused, blaming each other, judging oneself, judging others. And above all, believing that reality is material. A belief that we rarely investigate. What about letting go of all beliefs and to find out what remains? How do I completely quiet my mind? Who is asking this question? Is it this personal self that is asking this question? I want to quiet my mind in order to experience personal peace. But peace is not personal. In fact, peace is void of personhood. When there is peace, there is freedom from belief. Above all, freedom from the belief that my reality is the world body mind reality, that my reality is phenomenal. But your reality is this formless awareness. Borderless. And your body is not made out of flesh and bones. The true body is universal. There is an understanding which brings peace and quiet to the mind. But this understanding has a heavy price. This understanding requires your death. The death of your entire belief structure. Your many narratives about yourself, your family, your culture, your religion, your spirituality. All of that must die. It's already dead. Every thought which appears to you, boom, is gone in a second. It doesn't even exist. And your beliefs, no matter how hard you hold on to them, they don't exist. They have no reality of their own. Sometimes you speak of the ocean and the waves, but from the perspective of the ocean, from the perspective of reality, of truth, there are no waves. So from the perspective of peace, of true peace, there is no personal mind. There are no personal stories. All the stuff that you cherish is empty. Empty in that it does not deliver the goods that you seek, the love, the peace, the freedom, the joy, the happiness that you seek. You seek peace and happiness not as a person. You seek peace and happiness as your true nature. One could say it's consciousness seeking itself. But again, these are words. There is a liberating understanding. You have to be willing to pay the price. You cannot have your mind, your body, and your life in the same time. The freedom. I'm not talking about starving yourself or walking naked in the snow. I'm talking about your mind, which is so heavy, heavy with the past, with stories and spinning stuff, dead stuff, dead spinning stuff. But when you go to the heart of silence, you only find the light of being. You find that which is beyond words. The end of time. The end of the illusion of separation and personhood. So you have to let go of your mind. Let the universe, let God drive it. You don't choose anything. Everything is chosen. In fact, there is nothing happening. So even to say that everything is chosen is just a way of speaking. But when you're holding on to your storylines, your conditioned mind Wow, it's a very busy place. Lots of things are happening. Often it's a traffic jam. Our mind gets overloaded. But that's just the illusion of time, of existing in time. Because time appears to you as images. You never appear in time. Only you believe you do. But this belief is useless. It's unhappy. Believing that you are subject to time, subject to events. It's a useless belief. Just because everybody around you sings that song doesn't mean you need to sing that same song, you see. You can go directly to your experience as presence, as being, and notice that it's only awareness, only consciousness. That all forms refer to mind. The essence, the reality of mind is what interests you, not so much its content, but its essence. The essence of mind is no mind. There is no need to try to attain no mind because mind cannot attain no mind. There are no persons and no things in no mind. And you may ask yourself, well, what am I going to do now? What do I do? Be available for the understanding. Notice how the mind is like a rabbit hole. And yet, here we are using the mind to contemplate and to explore and to wonder about the source, about reality. So it can be a tool to contemplate, contemplate our reality, our true experience, which is no mind. In a way, it's a disappointment for the mind, the conditioned mind, to hear that. But it's a gateless gate. Separation. The me narrative is an illusion, empty. Any questions?
Hi, Maggie.
Hello, Kunal.
Just I guess something I've just been trying to get my head around. Would you mind speaking about intuition, insight, conscience, these kind of intangible, um, I guess, types of knowing, which seem to come beyond the mind?
You said intuition. What did you say?
Yeah, insight, intuition, conscience, these kind of things that I guess we try to follow, but it's not always clear
Okay.
how it's different from the mind.
So, an insight into consciousness, into reality, into truth, uh, is a sort of a collapse of the mind into truth, into understanding. So, an insight is an understanding. Uh, it is not an activity of the mind. It is a revelation from beyond, from the source, which has an effect, an impact on the mind, on the body, possibly on the world, because it can affect your behavior. Um, so, an insight or an understanding or a glimpse are synonymous terms that refer to uh, uh, God revealing itself or consciousness revealing itself, uh, disrobing itself, unveiling itself. Um, so that was inside. Then you said conscious. What was the
Yeah,
other?
yeah. I mean, they're just kind of general terms: conscience,
Oh,
intuition.
conscious. Yes. So conscience. Uh, we use the term conscience to. Uh, 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 I rarely use the term conscious, but it's used in our culture to refer to a personal sense of right behavior or right guidance, conscious. I don't uh, use the term conscious, I use the term consciousness. Um, Conscious has a personal sense to it, a meaning to it, at least as far as I understand the word, and as far as how we use the word in our culture. But because there is no actual person, there is no personal conscious. There is consciousness, la conscience. In French, c'est la conscience. La conscience refers to consciousness. It doesn't refer to personal, you know. So there are aspects of first consciousness refers to reality, to being, and to awareness. The one reality that which is and cannot not be that which is aware by its very essence. In its very essence is aware, self-aware and aware of creation. Now, there are attributes of consciousness which we know intuitively, which are we refer to as love, as peace, as freedom, as kindness, as benevolence, as equity, as there are experientially, the body-mind level, we recognize the attributes of consciousness. We don't need to go to the law, to man-made law. We don't need to go to the mind in order to recognize happiness or to recognize kindness or to recognize love. We don't need to refer to in the new enlightenment or the age of enlightenment in order for us to understand and to recognize the attributes of freedom, beauty, love, and wisdom. So I talk a lot about consciousness, in our meetings, but not about conscious. Now, sometimes in our culture, people speak about this person is more conscious than another person, or something like that. Oh, this person is more conscious. Which is a misuse of the word consciousness. So you have to sort of clarify what we mean by that. Sometimes there is a certain clarity in the mind. We may have a relationship with somebody who is clear or listens, is more present in a way. One could say it's more present. As a way of speaking, it's somebody who listens and who reflects, before speaking or before acting. Say, oh, wow, this person is more conscious than somebody else who reacts, knee-jerk reaction. But it's just a way of speaking. We're just talking about different levels of understanding. There are in the path towards freedom, let's say, there are various understandings that take us deeper and deeper, or take us higher and higher into being, into the undisturbable experience of being. In some cases, there are people who express this peace in a more sustained manner than others, simply because the understanding has ripened and bloomed at a different level of ripeness than different. It's not that one person is more conscious or more present. It's just that the understanding is riper. And we find ourselves drawn, talking about in terms of truth seekers, we are drawn to be in the company and to explore with people who are more stabilized in their understanding. And in fact, the understanding can be infectious, because as we hang out with people who speak from an established understanding, we also understand, we somehow pick up something happens in our experience, that we get infected with the understanding, you see. The third thing you asked about was, what was it again?
Intuition.
Intuition. Oh, intuition. Yes. So the greatest intuition, which we all share, is intuition about love, about truth, about peace, about reality. We have that intuition because we are that reality. You know, we are this formless reality, you see. So the intuition about reality, there are degrees of it depending on how thick the veil, the me veil, how thick the veil of personhood or personal identification, or how deep the conditioning is, or how thin it is. So the intuition about truth, about consciousness, is inbuilt, is built in within all of us. It's just that the access to this intuition depends on the degree of contemplation that has led to the thinning of the veil. Now, the more you progress, way of speaking, in terms of the thinning of the veil of selfhood, the personal self veil, as you move towards a thinner and thinner veil, then your intuition reveals not just, of course, the intuition about reality, because now you no longer have an intuition about reality. You're experiential. It's no longer an intuition, it's experiential. Then there is an intuition about about events, a certain intuition about.
It's almost like about the flow of energy in kind of through the world, through the environment.
Yeah, I would say that you're no longer separate from the universe, and so there are intuitions about the universe, that you have intuition. It's not like you can predict what's going to happen next Tuesday at 4:00. No, but there is an intuition, a worldly intuition, but it's insignificant. It's not relevant, because what is relevant is the freedom from the veil of ignorance, is the dissolution of the veil of separation. You see, that's really what matters. As a side effect, yes, there is some intuition. Sometimes you can predict some things, you can sense some things are going to happen. It's not that there is anything special about you. It's just that simply because the veil is lifted, the intuition is there. Because the intuition is always there, but the veil is in the way, you see. So, sometimes, remember, there are occasions where we say, "Oh, darn, I should have followed that initial intuition I had about taking on this job or making this decision, and I didn't follow it." This intuition is there, you see, but most often, the mind is preoccupied, is busy, and it's operating according to conditioned routes. It's following the trail, like the trail in the woods. The woods, you can walk in the woods in so many different ways, but you're walking on the trail, and the mind follows the trails, is limited in that way. And it is this intuition that leads us in a way towards forward along in our path. There is a sense of, yes, that's the way to go. That's, sometimes you have an intuition that, we want to do some meditation, or whichever way we refer to that. And it's something within us is sort of speaking to us. It's actually consciousness speaking to itself, you see. So it's a tricky thing, intuition, because sometimes we can confuse our conditioned mind to be intuition, you see. So to sort of develop that, that sense. So what's very helpful along the path of intuition is to follow the path of happiness. Happiness. And it's never happiness for you. If it's happiness for you, then it's unhappiness for others. It's no longer happiness. But to follow that path of open way, the smooth way, the harmonious way. So that's very helpful in terms of the intuition. That goes hand in hand with the intuition. Because intuition comes from God, and God is love and beauty and happiness. So you can follow the path of love, beauty, and happiness. See.
And I guess it strengthens itself as you go along. So, as you start to follow this subtler knowing, the mind starts to ease off. And as the mind starts to ease off, then you start to hear the knowing a bit more clearly.
Absolutely.
So it just kind of feeds itself.
Yes, there is a quietening of the mind, the patterns, the worries, the concerns, all of that becomes quieter. And when the mind is quieter, then presence is not clouded. It's not veiled by the thoughts and the emotions, right? Yes, yes. And then we find ourselves complete availability, you see. And there are no borders. We find ourselves completely immersed in the ocean, as a way of speaking, because we are the oceans. Yes, it ripens, it blooms. I don't like the word strengthens, but I understand what you're saying. Of course, it's just a personal thing about the word. It is more and more ease and more of a flow, less of a inner struggle and inner argumentation. And it's love. There's love and giving and receiving. Tranquility. So tranquility. And the ending, the quieting of the judgmental tendency. And that's what quiets, see. And the tripping about the past and the future, that also quiets, see. So then in the absence of all these old tendencies, then awareness becomes more and more like pristine. I mean, it's always pristine, but it's unclouded, unveiled, yes. So they say that this this ordinary mind is the extraordinary. So then the ordinary mind, which was the mind of, oh my God, me and this and that, blah, 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 becomes extraordinary. Or the mind drops into the heart. That's another way of saying it. Or the mind sort of returns to the source. There are many ways of speaking it, but experientially, there is an ending in the beginning. The ending and the beginning come together. Everything collapses into a point. It's not a point where it's a point of, how do you say? There is this geometric diagram that's appearing in my mind, but I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of come to a point, but then it evolves in all directions like a cone, but it's
Yeah, I think I can picture what you mean. It's like almost like a black hole, which is infinitely small, and yet it encompasses everything.
Yes. Another way of speaking it is that all the realms collapse into being. All the realms. The material realm ends. But still, you go to the market, you buy potatoes and tomatoes, and you make yourself a meal, right? But I don't want to be misunderstood that when I say the phenomenal realm ends, to be misunderstood, but there is an ending of the phenomena because it's recognized as being the noumena, only the noumenal is. So life takes on a different dimension where you're operating from a place of love and peace and freedom.
Could I say that the world goes on, but the status of the world changes from real to unreal, and I'm real?
Yeah, you could say that, sure. Yes. It's always been unreal. There's only one reality, which is reality of consciousness. But the impression of worldly reality apart from the reality of consciousness ends. Yes, the reality of the world continues as consciousness. Yes.
But as you were saying, I think in the meditation, the beliefs and the meanings about the world fall away.
Yes, because we don't know. There's nothing that is worth knowing outside of being. Because being is all-knowing. So knowing being, meaning being is all-knowing. The world serves main purpose. Its main purpose is to awaken to reality. And that's the purpose of the world, the impression of a world out there somewhere, is leads you to contemplate, what the heck is this world? What is my relationship to this world? Boom, this is the beginning of contemplation. Who am I? What is this world? What's going to happen to me? Is the world going to continue after I end, etc.? I mean, all these questions are connected to our experience of a world, and of course, in me, because if there is a world, then there is a me, because then part of the world is a body. There is a world, there is a body. And what is this body? Right? But in fact, there is no body and there is no world. But the impression of the world and the impression of the body then leads us to questioning of, well, I mean, the world comes and goes, this body doesn't come and go. It seems it's always here, At night, I don't see the mountain anymore, but I'm still here. I see my hands. So it seems that I'm real as a body. I'm here and I'm more real in the world. So then what's going to happen when I go? Is the world going to say, look, it seems like the mountains, they last 1,000 years. I last only 70 or 80 or 100. I don't know. So it's all these questions, you see. They are all contemplations, of course, questions that we look at, well, I mean, they appear to us. And in the end, they lead us to the question, heck, am I that which I'm perceiving or which I'm sensing? Am I the sensation that I'm perceiving, or am I the perceiving aspect? And they go, oh, holy cow, what is this perceiving aspect? And what are we talking about? Well, you cannot deny that I perceive. You cannot deny that there is something which perceives. And what is the something that perceives? Is it the eyes? Is it something in the brain? Is there something behind my head? What is it? There's something. Is it the body that's perceiving? Well, no, I perceive the body. Oh, I perceive sensation. I perceive image. I perceive the image. So then I cannot be an image. I cannot be an impression, because an image does not perceive, an impression does not perceive. So it leads you to you're sort of going, like there's a turbo. There are sometimes understandings that lead you to a new edge, a new dimension, new horizon contemplation. So then there are some things you can no longer return to. You can no longer. You can't really buy those goods anymore. It's like, oh no, I've seen that. No, I can't buy these goods anymore. Sometimes it takes us a while to let go, even though we realize we understood. We still, it's a habit of we go back to, but eventually realize, I gotta let it go. I've seen it. I've already understood this. I understood this. So I have to own it now. Because what's the point, if you don't own it?
So you follow the intuitions, the insights, you follow the breadcrumbs, you have faith in them, and eventually awareness leads you back to awareness.
Yeah, because every glimpse that you have delivers. It is something that was understood, you see. So you can disregard the understanding. You're no longer the same body mind post understanding, you say. So yeah, you rely on your understanding, and your intuition is, 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 an aspect of the understanding. is you trust this understanding, because this understanding is about consciousness and about truth, and your intuition comes from truth. So we'd say that our intuition about truth and our understanding about truth, they sort of work together, you see. And we're invited over and over to surrender the old, to surrender, to trust the surrender. That surrendering isn't the end of me, it's actually an entry into a deeper, more glorious, right? Like we said last time, sooner or later we're going to surrender it all. In the death of the body, we're going to surrender. We're actually, every day, we're moving closer and closer to the surrendering. So surrender now, because why wait, right? I mean, whatever you're holding on to is unnecessary, right? It's an important understanding that the body-mind is wired for survival. We don't need, it's there. All the pieces are there, okay? They're operating, and they're connected to each other, connected to the society, connected to atmosphere, connected to gravity, connected to our galaxy, connected to the galactic field, and on. So that's the body-mind, the thoughts about the body-mind survival, and so on. But contemplations about consciousness is very special. It's not the phenomenal aspect. It's the broader aspect, the reality aspect, you see. And you can't be grasping onto your old patterns of me, my life, and all of that in this belief structure and be contemplating truth. Because if you already made your assumptions about the reality is my body, is my mind, then what's the point of contemplating? You already got your conclusion, so go ahead, live as a person, and enjoy your misery, your fears, your anxieties, and your successes and failures, and eventually your death. Because that's the conclusion but here we have no conclusion, right? We say, no, we don't know. We don't know what. We're not starting with I am the body, I say. We're questioning. We're exploring. Okay. So it's a very different approach, you see, because we're starting with being open, available to investigate. So the doors are open, right? And that's how the understanding can come in, because we remain open. And whenever we go back to, I'm this person, and he and she did this to me, and so on. Now at that moment, we're closing. We're saying, okay, we're closing. Say, okay, fine, okay, here I am. I'm me, and you're you, and I don't like you, and you were wrong with me. I'm going to wrong you back, whatever, Yes, then we press the pause button on awakening, and we're just going to engage in worry, fear, concern, hatred, emotions, judgments, and jealousy and anger, whatever, greed and envy. But we've done that, right? I mean, we've done it. We've done it enough, right? So I know there is awareness. I know that I am aware. Awareness is aware. There is awareness. It's always that. but I don't know what I am. And so then there's contemplation of, okay, I know awareness is. We can contemplate what is awareness. So awareness is not an object. You will find more what awareness is not, as opposed to what awareness is. It's not male, it's not female, it's not big, it's not tall, it's not white, black, it's not American, it's not African, it's not. Well, it's undeniable, right? And undeniable.
Thank you, Magdi. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Nice. That's okay with you. Yes. Any questions? Anna Elena, you wrote something in the chat. You said you spoke about bringing the attention to presence, but isn't attention also awareness? So attention can be directed towards an object. I can tell you, for example, look at this beautiful sunset, right? Then you turn your attention towards the sunset. So then attention is turned towards an object. Or I can tell you, oh, turn your attention towards this beautiful car. So there is attention it's like turning the light of awareness towards an object. And also you can turn attention, meaning the light of awareness, towards awareness itself. So what does it mean to turn your attention to awareness? Because awareness is not an object, then we're talking about awareness, which is not an object, which is real. I am aware, there is awareness, towards itself. How does awareness turn its attention towards itself? Well, if it's not clear to you, then you can ask yourself the question, am I aware? And your answer will be yes. Of course I am aware. And then you can ask yourself the question, what is it that is aware? When you ask the question, what is it that is aware? What is your answer? An object cannot be aware. A body-mind is an object. The body is a gross object, and the mind is a subtle object. So an object cannot be aware. So then you ask yourself, what is it that is aware? There's only one thing left for you, which is awareness. Awareness is aware. It is aware that it is. It is aware that it perceives. It is aware that it is aware. That brings the mind to silence. We're not thinking about awareness, because thinking about awareness is just our thoughts appearing, and we're perceiving thoughts about awareness is this and that and that. We're not thinking about awareness. We are being, not thinking. So the attention, of course, it is awareness itself that is shining like a flashlight, shining. Take a flashlight, you shine it onto a tree, so attention is turned towards an object. Now try to shine the flashlight towards the flashlight. Try to shine the light to itself. You see? It's already shining. The light is made out of light. You cannot shine the light to the light. It's already shining as the light, you see. So that would be sort of a metaphor for awareness, the attention, turning the attention to awareness. Experientially, it is a sort of noticing, let's say, the formless awareness. Another way of saying it is formless awareness, noticing itself. How does it notice itself? Because it is made out of noticing. Awareness is a form of, let's say, like knowingness. How does it know itself? Because it is made out of knowing. It is made out of self-attention, you see. But habitually, we are habituated to shine the light of attention on objects. And one of the, which is it's fine, there's no problem. You want to learn how to play the violin, you're going to turn your attention towards how to hold the violin, how to hold the bow, etc. You see? No problem, no problem. So if anybody is telling you, turn your attention away from the world, turn your attention away from objects, and you will awaken, no. I would tell you this, no, it's not true. It would be stupid. You'd be like just sitting in a chair and not living your life. No, you have to turn your attention towards the world, towards relationship, towards food, traveling, the arts, whatever you like. So turning your attention towards the world is not an issue, right? So when I say turn your attention towards awareness, I'm not saying stop turning your attention towards the world. No, don't say that. I'm saying explore the belief that reality is phenomenal. Explore the belief that you are an object. You see, that's very important to realize that you are not an object. You are not something that's going to die. The body dies. The car goes to the junkyard, but you don't die. That's an important understanding. It's not sufficient understanding. It's a good understanding, very important understanding, but it's not sufficient. Because then you need to explore your reality. Now you understood that your reality is not an object, not a body-mind. Now you can explore the attributes of consciousness. That consciousness is not personal. That consciousness is universal. And turning your attention towards awareness is more of a resting as being, resting as presence. And the more you rest as presence, as a metaphor, the more you're soaking into presence, like a sponge, you say. Again, it's a metaphor. And you soak in presence, you absorb presence. It's a very poor metaphor, I understand. But so it's not so much an exploration, it's more of a resting in the source, sort of a leaning back. And I don't like the word surrendering, but letting go. Yes. Oh, Holga, yes, for exploration, attention equal awareness plus object. Yeah, attention, which is turned worldly attention or phenomenal attention. I would say yes. Phenomenal attention equal awareness plus object. Yes, I would add the word phenomenal. Rashmi, you wrote today. People they're liking to chat in the chat box. I have a new colleague who has become a friend after a tragic bereavement. Yes. They moved from another country, and a week later, their 14-year-old son died suddenly. He's a scientist and does not believe in God or anything spiritual. How can I offer comfort besides being available to talk? They are from Brazil, and all their friends talk about God and that they will see the sun again, but he dies not, and he does not die, etc. Okay. You have to be true to yourself, Rashmi. When you are with somebody who is grieving the loss of somebody they love, we find ourselves touched by their grief. Because the grief is a sort of love, an aspect of love. It's not a bad thing, It's not ignorance. So we are touched, and when we are touched by their grief, there is a sharing. We don't need to speak so much. We don't need to say anything, but just to be sharing in their grief because you're touched. If you believe in an afterlife, that's your belief. You speak about your belief. If they're available to listen, if you believe in being reborn 7 times, like the cats, I have 7. Maybe you speak about 7 lives. Speak what you believe. I personally don't believe much in anything, so I find that I don't really have much to say, really. But I do feel the grief and the sorrow. And sometimes just being present with a friend is sufficient. I wouldn't bother so much about God and all this paraphernalia, except if you believe in it. I don't know. So I wouldn't bother myself with that. Sometimes people find that believing in afterlife or believing in God is reassuring, gives them some comfort, yeah, well, why not? If it's their business. If they're finding comfort in believing they will be reunited with their son after life, who knows? Why? Okay, I would wish them a nice reunion. You see, yeah, I think you're doing the right thing. Just being available to listen, to be present with them, to share in their bereavement is sufficient. Life and death are simple things. They happen all the time. And, we, of course, we feel the grief, we feel the sadness. It's part of the human sentiment, Yeah. You don't know ahead of time, how it's going to be being with them. So at the time that you are in their presence, then just be true to yourself. Often we don't need to speak much. Any questions? Okay. Some of you, let me see. Yes, okay. Right. Okay. Well, thank you all. Lovely to be with you. Always very beautiful. Holger, Maria, nice to meet you, Maria. If you're interested in a copy of the recording, Maria, just share your email address with Holger, and he will send you the recording. Hello, Liliana, Kunel, Brian. I love your resting position. Maria, Alvaro, hola Alvaro. Hey, Bill, Holly. Hey. Anna, hola Anna. Philomene. Salut Shiva. Ça fait longtemps qu'on ne s'est pas parlé. Jenny. Mark. Anand, and Desmond. Lynn. Jackie. Frank and Rashmi. Beautiful. Thank you all. Lovely to be with you.